welcome back. So this week's video, I should say today's video anyway, is the part 2 of the collaboration video I did with That's Moni. So part 1 is in the description if you guys want to go check that out before you guys check out part 2. But if you guys already have, then get on ready for this video. Generally, I spend about 20 to 30,000 won a week on like groceries and food, but it depends. Sometimes it fluctuates a little bit if I have to like buy stuff, like because I bulk buy cereal because it's easy. Because it's only me and my roommate consuming our stuff, we sometimes don't feel like milk for a very long time. So we tend not to buy milk unless we actually want milk. So we go to like the convenience store and get one for like 1,000 won. We generally just buy microwave rice because it's filling and it's sustainable. Most of the time we end up having like 2 meals a day because we both skip breakfast. So it's not like the worst thing on earth. Sometimes we go out and it can be about 10,000 won per person for the meal.
For friends, I think generally like in a week I'd spend around 20 to 25 euros. I don't know how much that is like in USD, but yeah, it's like normally what I spent. But if I went to a restaurant to grab something to eat, it will be a little bit more. Like we can find menus for like 6 euros for students, but if you want to go to a restaurant, normally like I spend between 10 to 15 euros. And if it's very expensive, like if we go to a really good restaurant, it'll be around 25 euros without a drink. So I normally don't get a drink because I'm a water girl, so I don't really like
I don't like water.
You don't like water? That's so funny. Yeah.
Water. Yeah, no,
I love water. I'm like water 100%.
I know. Yeah, so I'll down so much juice and not drink water.
But I think in average it's like in between 20 25. There are people that spend 30 euros per week, and that's like you eat pretty well with that. Yeah, that's something that you learn a lot. Like for like in Mexico, fruit it's very cheap. So when I see fruit in Europe, like how much does it cost? I'm like, you know, I'm fine.
Watermelon's really expensive here. Like I saw one, like it's a good size watermelon, but it's like 18,000 won, so it's like almost $20 in Australia for that.
You're like, I don't want it that bad.
It's okay. I can live without watermelon right now. There are a lot of vegetarian options on the menus that we go to, so you can always ask them to opt out as well. Like vegetarians will still eat eggs, so which is fine because a lot of dishes still contain eggs. But if you know you're vegan, you can always ask them not to put the egg as well, and they're happy to do that. But you just need to make sure you read the description properly. Every maybe second or third shop we walk past in the street is a barbecue place, like Korean barbecue. So it's just meat, like just so much meat. Yeah. In terms of being like a vegetarian here, like I suggest best way to do is go to traditional restaurants. They generally carry a lot more vegetable and like vegetarian options. Cooking yourself, like making, you know, meals yourself, which is really helpful. If you really want to go out, like there's a lot of Western places to eat now, so there's obviously a lot of vegetarian options as well. You know, Subway still carries all the vegetarian options they have, McDonald's or Macca's. Even their bread shops, you know, like they have very good bread shops.
I wouldn't say that it's easier. Like there are more restaurants that are vegetarians and that they have vegetarian options. But I still think that it's not very practical. Like when I arrived to France, I was vegetarian. So it was like about 3 to 4 years ago. And I mostly cooked at home because when you go outside, sometimes like dishes have a lot of meat. So if you take off meat, you just get like a salad that won't fill you up, and it's very expensive. So I think in terms of that, it can be a little bit like tricky. For Strasbourg, I know that in Paris they have more options, and I live in a city that it's close to the border with Germany. So in Germany they have a lot of vegan options. So if you live in Strasbourg, you certainly can go to supermarkets in Germany and find vegan options and just cook on your own, or yeah, it's just in that way. I think it's very practical to be close to Germany. They do have a lot of options, but in France, I see difficulties if you're a vegetarian. Like you can struggle to find places to eat a healthy meal that's vegetarian. So yeah, I think French are not that. They like their cheese, but they also like their meat.
What have I done so far? I've been to Seoul twice because I live 2 hours subway or about 45 minutes on bullet train. So we generally take the subway because it's a lot cheaper. Like if you take the bullet train, it's about 14,000 won, as opposed, which is a 45-minute ride, as opposed to 2 hours on the subway for 2,000 won. And if you're with your friends, it's not that bad, 2 hours on the train. Like it used to take me an hour and a half to get to work in Sydney. Like I'm not that fast. It would take me 2 hours to get to university in Sydney as well. So like 2 hours on the subway is nothing really.
Yeah,
we took a Seoul trip. Like we literally last minute went, okay, let's go to Seoul. We spent about 24 hours in Seoul and then we came back.
Paris is way closer to, because I'm not that far away from Paris, and we have something called a TGV, so I think it will be in between the subway and the bullet train. It's a very fast train, but I don't know if it's that fast as a bullet train, and it takes around 2 hours, so like 1 hour and 50 to arrive to Paris. So you can just go one day and come back. I've done that before, but because like now there's a lot of restrictions and we're like starting to go back to normality. I haven't been to Paris yet, but I know that there are like different forests near Strasbourg that you can go to, like villages. And in terms of travel, I think it's okay. Like being a student helps a lot because you get discounts. So yeah, you just have to like inform yourself about like the discounts, or if there's like a holiday and they have a discount, you just have to ask. Just
go for it.
I just go for it and find the deals. Yeah. A misconception that when you study abroad, you're going to travel a lot. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie, because you're going to study, so you're going to have a lot of things to do. So if you travel, then you will fail.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people think like, oh yeah, you live abroad, so you like know pretty well. Like for example, I live in France, so they think that I know pretty well France, but I do not have that much time. Like every time I'm in France, I'm studying, and when I go back, like during summer vacation, if I go back home, I do not have time to travel. Sometimes you're so tired that you just want to sleep, and then most
of these trips are planned so last minute that like we literally go there and come back, and then I go training like the next day. Like the next morning is straight to class or training. Anyone that wants to study abroad and thinks that like by studying abroad they're gonna have time to visit things, oh man,
you're gonna need time to adjust to life and language. So I think it's
I agree with you. Big expectations. That's the main thing. Money management is such a hard thing for me because oh my god, like back in Sydney, I would like just splurge so much. It's a little bit better now. Like I strictly hold on to like the $20 to $30 budget in the grocery store. I try not to buy anything excess that I don't need to, because I did fall for a bit of a scam at one of the hairdressers I went to. They kind of conned me out of a bit of money. Beware of Korean hairdressers, guys. I had to hold back a lot on things. Like if I don't see it as something I need like desperately, like if it's not a necessity, I haven't like bought it basically.
Same here. Yeah, I think I haven't had like money management problems. I normally save up money, and I'm like, you need it, you buy it. You don't need it, then you think twice, and then if you really want it, then you buy it, but you have to work hard for it. Because I know that like with the current situation, there are like the economy is not that well, so like I know that it's very important at this moment to save money. But like I do the same as you say. Like I find deals on supermarkets. Like if I find a product that's on discount, I buy it. Like if I need it. If I don't need it, then it doesn't make sense to buy it.
Yeah.
But I do like search online. Like if there's like some discount somewhere, or we have an app in France that's called Too Good to Go. So basically what it is that you can buy like food that wasn't sold in certain restaurants, so they don't throw it out, so you buy it at a cheaper amount. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like you can buy, for example, burgers that were at 12 euros at 5 euros. And I sometimes bought it, and it depends on like the amount of food that they have left. But sometimes I receive like one burger and fries, and sometimes I receive two burgers and like two like side fries. So I think you have like to look which are like the student deals and discounts. Like they have a lot of them. You just have to be like really like good at looking for them and asking friends like, do you know like where I can buy like cheap bread or something like that, because you can find good food at a good price. Or like buying bulk stuff, like you were saying, like rice, then you can share with someone else, and then I think that can help to save money.
Yeah, definitely. Making sure
yeah.
you know where to go, because there's two supermarkets near us. There's one called Lotte Mart, and then there's another one called E-Mart. E-Mart is a lot bigger, and it's way cheaper than Lotte, but it is a little bit further of a walk. So we kind of go there when we want to do like a big bulk buy. It's always good to know where to buy in bulk as well, because everything's relatively cheap. You just have to make sure you don't overbuy things, because like when I first got here, I did overspend a little bit. That's why I've had to hold myself back, because I was like, oh, like that's only like $16. What? Like, you know, that's so cheap compared to Sydney. Like, I didn't think twice about it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get that. Or let me get that. Like, you know, like I didn't think, because I was like, oh, it's so much cheaper than Sydney. Let's do it. But like after a bit, I was like, hang on a second. I don't need any of this. So you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, you have to be careful, like what you need versus what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you don't really need it, and then you buy and you're like, oh, why did I buy this? Like I didn't need it. Then if you have to pay for something else, like I don't know, buying a book or something, and then you are struggling to like find money because you spend it in something else, I think it's just like very important to have money saved up just in case something happens. Then you can use it. I can go to Germany and buy groceries, and it will take me like 20 minutes by bike. So it's it's just very cheap to go to Germany. Like there's this store called Lidl or Aldi. They have really cheap stuff.
Oh, we have Aldi in Sydney too.
Yes, I have Aldi. It's really crazy. Like they have really good deals, and for like it's just very cheap, and they have so many different options. Whereas in France, it can be really expensive. Like you can go to markets and you'll find fresh food, and it will be a little bit cheaper. You just really need to find when you arrive to a new city, like you have to do your research, because sometimes after time passes by you realize that you went to an expensive place. Like there are markets here, like food markets, that are way more expensive than other ones, but you don't know till you go there and till you talk with people. Like it's just all about trial and error. But yeah, I think the basic thing will be like, just you need it, you buy it. You don't need it, then you think it twice.
I have a D4 visa, which is a 6-month language visa. The original one I needed to get was D2, which I can receive once I get admitted into the Taekwondo department, which allows me to stay up here for 2 years, which also allows me to go in and out of the country as well. Because my D4 visa only allows me to come in and then I have to go back. So it expires in September, which is fine, because it's still within my time before I get my my admission into it. So I'm going to be starting my D2 visa application soon with my office. Because it's stuck in your passport, you can't lose it. But the thing is, like, there's been times where I'm like, oh my god, where's my passport? So just please look after your passports. Like, I shouldn't have to say this, but I know people are going to forget about it, so please look after your passports and all your important documents.
Yeah, like be really careful. Yeah, your passport is your life while starting abroad. Like you have to have it at all times.
Definitely. And another thing I think is really important to look into when you're applying your visas as well is insurance. Like having that student travel insurance is really important. Like realize that my allergies are a lot more severe when I got here, and my asthma. So I actually had to go to doctors. I had to go buy a lot of medications and stuff like that. So I submitted it all. I'm just waiting for a confirmation, but I will get like a certain amount of the money that I paid back into my Korean bank account.
In France, it's a little bit different. Like you need to have around 7,000 euros in total in a French bank account. Well, you normally have to transfer in a French bank account, but you can have it either if your parents are going to help you with your studies, they have to prove that they have the money. So you have to show like all the documents and everything. Or if you have a job, you just show the contract and be like, I don't have the 7,000 euros in my bank account, but I do have a contract, so I will be receiving this amount of money each month and I can sustain myself. So it's basically because of that they want you to have a certain amount of money, just that you can be sure that you're not going to be struggling. And
you need to get a registration card as well, which is like, it's called an alien registration card, which I only just received like last week, and I've been here since March. So it's been taking a while because of Corona, but
did you have to ask for it, or do they normally give it to you?
Cover up my actual number, but basically this is a Korean card that we need.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we basically just have to make sure we carry this at times. This is basically our actual ID in Korea. So it's got like my visa details at the back as well. So it's like the date, where I'm living. So in case I actually lose this, someone can go, oh, that's her address. We can like go drop it off. Yeah. Or like, if the police see it, they can be like, yo, you've overstayed your visa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they can check it out. Let me look for mine. I think show it like this because there's a lot of information. So mine is basically this. Yeah. And on the back, we have a ton of information, which I don't think I should show.
Yeah.
Information. So it's just a pink card. And I didn't have trouble with this. I do not think so. Like, the cool thing is that in my university, you can renew your visa. So you normally you do that during September. Difficult part is that there's a lot of people that go there. So you have to wake up pretty early and get in line early and all of that. But if you have all of your documents, it's not that hard. Like it can be hard if you don't have the amount of money that they ask for, or if you have papers that are missing. Like that's something actually very important. In France, they don't like when you don't have all of the documents they ask for. So I normally bring a lot of documents. Yeah, even if they do not ask for a document, because I know that they might be like, where is your phone bill? And I'll be like, what? They didn't ask for that. But I bring everything just in case, because sometimes they ask for documents that they were not on the list.
In the Korean embassy in Sydney, like they gave me a list which told me like, oh, bring all of these, and then when I got there, the girl was like, hold up, you don't have this, and I'm like, that wasn't on the list that you guys gave me last week. So then I would have to go and spend another week trying to download or trying to get something authenticated and stuff like that. I probably spent, like, not counting the actual visa, I probably spent $200 getting like things authenticated and apostolized and stuff like that. I even had to go to a lawyer's office to get things solidified. Or I don't even know the word for it anymore. But I had to go to like so many places, get so damn many stamps and signatures and stuff. Yeah, like it sounds like it's a lot of work, but like, and I'm not gonna lie, it is. But if you really want to do it, like once you've done it, it's the best feeling ever. That you've like you're like, damn, I tackled this maze. Like, that's it. It's done.
Yeah, you forget about it. Like, I've already forgotten about what I did. Now I have to do it again because I have to renew my visa, and I'm thinking about doing like an exchange program. So I forgot about that. And now that they send like the list, I'm like, yeah, I totally forgot about everything that I have to do. Like, translate documents. In my case, I don't have to do it because it will be in the European Union. So that's a cool thing. Like, you sometimes don't need to translate things. They normally speak like French or German or English. So if you have it in any of those languages, it's okay. But yeah, like you have to, I don't remember how much I spent with like translating documents, but I know that it was like expensive to do like the whole thing. Like you really have to, like I think if you want to study abroad, if your parents can help you, that's great. But it's also very useful to save some money. So if you can work beforehand, like do that, like get jobs and save money for like a year, or I mean, you can make your calculations, because it, like if you want to pay your studies, at least in France, it's not easy to find a job. Like I remember last year I was looking for a job and I started applying during the summer, and they got back to me like 3 months after. And now like it's kind of crazy because I applied for a job last year, I didn't get in, like I didn't get an answer, and they contacted me this year and they were like, are you still interested? And I'm like, I totally forgot about that one. They asked me like, are you still in Strasbourg? And I was like, yes, but I might be leaving, like I'm not sure if next year I'll be here. But like just know that yeah, there's also a lot of students that are looking for jobs, and you have to be like one of the first, and also have a lot of contacts, and that comes with living in the country or just going to different events and do networking. Like there's a lot of that goes into that, and I didn't know, like I've heard about it, but I thought it was going to be easier, like just to find a job, but it's not. It's just know that you have to prepare yourself for having a motivation, because it's not going to be that easy. Like there are going to be hard times, but it's definitely worth it. Like once you go through all of that, you're like, this is the best feeling and the best experience. Yeah, sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this and that, but you have to understand that you also need time to study, and it can be like a lot to take in.
Yeah,
so
you need a rest as well. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't rest, then there's no point. You're just going to be burnt out in literally no time.
Yeah.
So you have to be super careful. Like I had contacts before I moved here, because I moved here through those contacts. So like my friend that's been here for 2 years, and the coach on the team, and some people on the team that I actually met at previous competitions as well. So like for me, I was very lucky that I knew some people already, and one of them speaks English, thankfully. Whereas the friends that I hang out with like all the time here are people that I actually met when I got here. So like I wouldn't stress about not having contacts before you get here, because you never know, you're gonna meet so many people, so you're gonna make more contacts here. I think it's best to focus as well on contacts that are willing to that are wanting to support you, and you know, send you love back at home. So then you can, you know, be better here as well. Like it is going to be really hard being alone here, because everything's unfamiliar and it's brand new, you know, new culture, new language, and, you know, a whole new demographic.
Before I came here, I didn't know like anybody. I had a friend, like he's still studying in Paris, so I can say he's my contact, and I met a girl before I came here that was going to study in Strasbourg too. But the thing is that we're not studying the same degree, we are not in the same faculty, so we do not see each other. So I think it wouldn't have made any difference if we didn't know each other before. But I do remember that I contacted the university just to make sure that I had like everything prepared. If I had any questions, I asked. They're like, I don't know how to do this, like could you help me out? And they will certainly send you to another person, and then you'll get more contacts. So like you get to know people while you're there, because it's very hard to do it while you're online, like where you're on another country. And I would also say that it's not the same when you are going to, when you're participating in an exchange program, rather than when you're living there for at least a year, because 6 months goes like so fast. And like I haven't been in an exchange program in university, but I've participated in one for like 3 months, and I know that my experience was totally different. Like I didn't feel that homesick in 3 months, and in the first 6 months that I was here, it was just like way too short. So I don't think it would be the same thing staying at a place for a year or longer than 6 months, because it goes so fast. Like by the time that you arrive, that you get used to that place, that you adapt and all of that, then you have to go back to your country. So it's, yeah, I think it just is different in terms of context. That's also something, I don't know if you've done this here in France, at least, because there's like the Erasmus program, I've made a lot of friends in those parties, like the Erasmus parties. So I go there and everyone's international, and it's pretty cool because you get to speak in different languages and all of that. So I do make like a lot of contacts there, even though if they leave like 6 months afterwards and they have to start all over again and make friends again. I think it's a great opportunity to meet new people. Like you just have to look like cafes, like language cafes or events, parties, anything that university is organizing, and then you'll definitely meet people. Like you just have to go to the place. So
my university is doing a language partnership as well. So a lot of the students will apply for an English tutor or a Korean tutor, and then you basically you get paired up. And so I'm tutoring a Korean girl in English at the moment, and she's helping me with my Korean. So they get scholarship for it, and then we get vouchers at the end of it as well. But also look on Facebook.
Oh yeah, Facebook too. Yeah, they have. Like, I don't know if you have an university group. We have one here about students in Strasbourg. Yeah.
City ones, country ones, even. Like you never know. Like you find so many different types of people living in the same country and state or city, and they might be looking for the same thing that you're looking, like maybe a roommate, maybe someone to look after like certain things, or like join a program. Like if you find those Facebook groups, it's really helpful. Like, alright guys, welcome to the end of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed our first collab video series kind of thing that we did. We actually both had a lot of fun. Believe it or not, the original Zoom call that we actually had lasted for 2.5 hours, so we both had to condense a lot of it down to get it to the videos that you guys saw. But we both had a lot of fun editing and talking to each other, and we are considering doing some more videos in the future. So if you guys have anything you guys want to see from the both of us, please let us know, and we'll definitely get on to it. So I don't have much else to say, but Moni has a couple of things she wants to say to you guys. So ready? And
you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at thatsmoni, also on Facebook at thatsmoni. I have a Pinterest account, but that's like thatsmoni with 2 eyes because I couldn't find the thatsmoni name. And I have a blog. It's thatsmoni.com. You can find me on YouTube at thatsmoni too. You can send me a message, or you can leave a comment on our video and just tell us like which are the comments. I think that will be like easier for us.
And definitely check out some of her stuff. If you guys enjoyed it, do like and subscribe, and then check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well. Both our links are in the description. Just have a look. And other than that, I hope you guys have a lovely day, night, week, or whenever I see you guys next. And then till then, don't forget to smile, and I'll see you next time. Bye.